Sam Raimi's back in horror, baby!
It's all ogre now. Shrek 5 is officially happening.
And apparently the next chapter of the Horizon sagas just might not even happen.
And The Conjuring has set its finale date.
All of this and more on this week's episode of the Movie Nights Roundtable. Hello, Nicholas. How are you?
Wonderful. How are you?
Great. We have stories.
We have stories this week, not 4 movie reviews.
Yeah, isn't that wonderful?
What a concept.
Because it would have been really bad this week because I did not see 4 movies.
Yeah, no, I saw one.
Yeah, it would have been bad. But yes.
I did rewatch The Internship starring Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson, so I could talk about that for about 40 minutes if we'd like.
It's much better than people remember, I think.
And it's directed by Sean Levy.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Yeah. I made Hannah watch Series 7 Doctor Who with Matt Smith. We watched all the Moffat episodes, and then we went into Day of the Doctor, Night of the Doctor.
All right.
So
it's a good run.
Those episodes, yes. For some reason, the random Doctor Who tangent, usually the standalone episodes are fun to look forward to. That series, the standalone episodes were kind of weak. That's why we just did the Moffat ones. So
Series 7, that's Smith. Right?
Yeah, it's Smith, and then Amy and Rory leave halfway through, and then Clara.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Oh, the days.
Oh, the days.
Anyways, before we get into our news stories, a massive trailer dropped. A movie we've been very excited for, but didn't really kind of expect this trailer to drop until it was supposed to drop on one day, then didn't, and dropped on another day. And that's
very high before its release, too.
Yeah.
Very early.
Yeah, and that's Captain America Brave New World, or Captain America 4. I love this trailer. I'll just say that. It is early, but I also think the timing is good because they're going to play it in front of Deadpool and Wolverine. It's Marvel's only movie this year, so it makes sense.
Yeah, they're going to want everything that's seen by everyone. That's because everyone is going to Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah, they want eyeballs on that trailer for sure. Listen, I thought it was a really great trailer, personally.
I liked it. I liked the teaser poster quite a bit with Red Hulk hand crushing the shield.
That was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It was, and seeing Red Hulk was very cool.
Yeah.
They're at the fucking Celestial in the ocean finally.
Finally, Tiamat returns.
Finally doing it. But not only that, the action looks great. The flight with the suit looks great. It does kind of feel like those Winter Soldier vibes again, which I'm a fan of. But it also will have a little bit more of a sci-fi twist with the leader and Red Hulk obviously being in it. But I think the movie looks very intriguing. It looks very suspenseful. Looks intense. I'm in. And somehow they got Giancarlo Esposito's footage in there real quick because they just shot that shit like a few months ago.
Yeah,
not even.
For those that might not be aware, Giancarlo Esposito, whose character's yet unconfirmed still, I think. Mm-hmm. There's speculation, but he was reshoots of reshoots.
Yeah.
And he was added into the movie very late in the game, and he's all over that trailer because if Giancarlo Esposito's in your movie, by God, you show him.
100%. 100%.
And more importantly about this, we get the return of the leader.
Yes.
Which is the only Marvel storyline from the OG days that they've never followed up on.
I know. Like, I'm going to feel like a weight off of my shoulders, like when I watch this movie.
I know. I'm just feeling there he is. Yeah. And he looks like he's green.
Yeah.
In the trailer.
Yeah, we haven't seen his face yet.
Very brief glimpse, yeah.
Yeah, but hey, I'm in. Mm-hmm. I'm so in. Hopefully Betty Ross survived the reshoots because Liv Tyler was on set back when they were shooting.
Well, and they bring back Isaiah Bradley.
Yep.
Obviously, Harrison Ford is recast as Thaddeus Ross due to
William Hurt.
William Hurt's unfortunate passing. Mm-hmm. But he is hulking out.
Yeah.
Which I think it's really funny that someone probably had to explain the Red Hulk to Harrison Ford.
Yes. And I can't wait for the press tour.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. But also, I loved... Marvel has, like, perfected the addressing the recast in the room, like, better than anyone. Mm-hmm. They didn't really do it with Ruffalo, but with Rhodey, it was, yep, it's me, I'm here, let's move on, in Iron Man 2. And then in this trailer with I gotta say, I'm getting used to the new look, and he goes, I know, they said lose the mustache or lose the election. I'm like, it's
pretty good.
This is pretty good.
Pretty funny.
Yeah.
CGI obviously looks unfinished, but looks interesting. I like the direction that they're going. Just a political thriller. My only thing about it is I'm very curious if this is going to sort of be like the Iron Man 2 of
like this new
like iteration of Marvel that we're going into, because it's like you have the leader, but more importantly you have like Falcon, you have Tiamat, you have Harrison Ford is now the president and he's a Hulk, or he's running for president. It feels like a lot of Marvel stuff going on there, and that'll presumably also probably lead into Thunderbolts. Obviously, the team gets its name from Ross, so I'm curious if then we'll get Julie Louis-Dreyfus's character. I'm very curious how much Marvel they're going to shove into this.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Because they are still kind of doing those two storylines right now. One's the grounded with Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and one is the multiversal with like Doctor Strange and Spider-Man and all that. And I'm wondering at one point that they're going to start to come together. It's going to be at some point. But my worries are less with that because they've spent so much money reshooting this movie that I'm like, I feel like Feige's just like, please, we got to make it good. It's got to be good.
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah.
Same thing with like Daredevil, where he was just like, no. Just do it again.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But anyway, I like the trailer. I think you like the trailer as well. What did you guys think of the Captain America Brave New World trailer? Let us know in the comments as we move on to our first news story. And Nicholas, what's the news story? What happened?
Our story comes to us from Deadline, and that is that Sam Raimi is set to direct and produce a horror thriller called Send Help for 20th Century Studios.
Fuck yeah, he is. Sam Raimi's directing horror again. This is fantastic news. I'm going to pull from the Deadline article here. Sam Raimi, the architect of the Evil Dead franchise, has closed the deal to direct and produce Send Help, a new horror thriller from 20th Century Studios. Not yet officially greenlighted by the studio, according to our sources, the film is described as a two-hander horror thriller set on an island. The story is said to fall somewhere between Rob Reiner's Stephen King adaptation of Misery and Robert Zemeckis' classic Castaway. Give it to me. Pump it in my veins. Pump it in my veins, Nicholas. I also believe that Daniel RBK talked about this a while ago, like on his Patreon, saying like, hey, I've heard that Sam Raimi is going to direct a movie for 20th Century Studios. This is that movie. It says it's not greenlit. This shit's happening. If Sam Raimi has closed the deal, the shit is happening.
Yeah.
Right? And like what excites me is before Doctor Strange 2, he hadn't directed in a long time. And he's got the directing itch again. And now he has a horror project where he's like, that I want to make this one. I can't wait. I'm so excited. I'm going to do the whole Raimi rewatch. I know myself. It's going to happen. I am so excited about this. And the premise sounds really intriguing. It's basically Misery meets Castaway. Fuck yeah, dude. Let's go respectfully. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's a well-known fact. We're both giant Sam Raimi fans. It's very exciting to see him directing something again. I know you really liked Multiverse of Madness. I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but it really didn't have anything to do with the direction. I think Sam Raimi's an excellent
He brought
director.
the sauce.
He brought the sauce. He brought more sauce to a Marvel movie than was probably needed. Evil Dead Rise coming out was a huge success. Obviously, he was a producer of that. There's, 2 Evil Dead movies now in the works. One with Francis Galuppi, the other with Sebastian
Vinnicek.
Yeah. So that's really blossoming. He's obviously executive producing on those movies. So it's nice to see him sort of just coming out of, it wasn't really a retirement, but, just want to be like, all right, I'm ready to go again. Let's go. Evil Dead, you're doing your thing. Great. I'm going to do my projects.
Yes. Yeah, I fully agree with you. I'm so excited. I've only seen Drag Me to Hell one time, and this news is going to make me rewatch Drag Me to Hell.
I've never seen it.
Dude, let's just say Kyler would hate it. So that's how you know it's great. But I'll say this. Doctor Strange 2, because you brought it up.
Oh, God.
Doctor Strange 2. I really like the movie. Like that's no secret. Do I think it's, oh my God, the best movie Marvel's ever? No. I really like it, though. And I also give it a lot of slack just because I don't think people realize during the pandemic, Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, like how much shit they had to rework and redo on those movies while they were being made. And like, it's a miracle that it even came out, let alone as good as it came out. And so I give that movie slack. Spider-Man came out a lot better, but we also had Toby and Andrew working with you there.
And all the old villains. Yeah, you had so much nostalgia to work in. Yeah. And then Doctor Strange, you did not.
And Doctor Strange, you just had Sam Raimi with a focus puller sweating, being like, let's run this shit, baby, let's go. And just making it happen.
Make it a snap zoom or I leave.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I'm so excited about Sam Raimi directing a new horror movie. What do you guys think about this? Let us know in the comments as we move on to our next story. And Nicholas, what do you got for us next?
Our next story comes to us from Deadline as well, and that Regal movie theater chain, has raised $250 million to upgrade their theaters.
Yes, so this kind of came a little bit of a surprise because it wasn't too long ago that the parent company, Cineworld, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. But now it looks like they're going to take time to spend a bunch of money and improve their theaters, add some recliner seats, make it a much better experience. I'm going to pull this from Deadline. Quoting the CFO, Thomas Song, with the strong support from our existing investors and real estate partners, Regal is well positioned to invest in growth opportunities with highly accretive investments, including brand new luxury recliners in the United States and digital enhancements for our loyal customers. As we identify theaters for these improvements, we encourage our landlords to also reach out with interest for respective locations. So basically every theater going, please improve our theaters. But the article also goes on to say that they're going to be improving the digital channels, the website, and the app as well. So the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because a lot of conversation has been going around about like the movie theater industry, which ever since COVID, this has been happening. Mm-hmm. And while the beginning of the year did not look good for box office, it's been looking pretty great the past couple months. And Deadpool hasn't even come out yet.
Nope.
So, but with that being said, I think that Regal spending the money and Cineworld spending the money to make these improvements is a great idea. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to take a while to get your investment back, but you got to start making the theater a better place to go to because there's just too much competition now, especially with streaming and how high quality, high production value television shows can be. And ever since the pandemic, people have been kind of understandably re-justifying like what's worth leaving the house for. Mm-hmm. And you got to make it worthwhile. People aren't going to spend the money they spend on concessions and ticket prices to sit in a chair that's just like your office chair that you've been sitting in from 9 to 5. Make it a little bit nicer. As someone who, let's just say, has a complicated relationship with a Cinemark, I will even say, as a customer, the regular 2D experience of just watching a regular 2D movie at a Cinemark is a great experience because they all have the recliner seats and the projectors are pretty good.
Yeah, I went to obviously we're AMC
yes.
members, and we're fortunate enough to be able to get tickets for Dolby and IMAX screenings, which I would say more often than not are the theaters that we go to. And I went to like a 2D at a Regal, and I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
What is it? And it's not even to say that, but just the regular 2D experience is just has improvement, needs improvement.
Yeah, and there are some branches of AMC and Regal that have been doing these improvements and putting in the recliner chairs. I will say I think Cinemark has done it the best.
Yeah.
Trust me, it pains me to say that. But also, Regal, in my experience, I've been to some great Regal theaters, but a lot of Regal theaters, their sound tends to be lower. The projectors tend to be not as up to speed. And it's just like, oh, this doesn't feel like the experience it should. Mm-hmm. Now, their premium theaters are usually pretty good. Like their IMAXs are really good normally. Whenever they do film projection, it usually goes pretty well. So they have upsides. But I think this is really going to try to help to put them in that conversation of like the go-to theater. Because what I found with Regal specifically is like if you live in a small town, the one theater in your town is likely a Regal. Like AMC hits all the cities.
Yeah.
Cinemark does the same thing, and Regal obviously does so as well. But I came from multiple small towns, and the theater that was in that area remotely was randomly a Regal theater.
Yeah, no, I grew up going to Regals.
So it's just like, I think this is a good opportunity for those type of theaters to like really capitalize on making it a nice place to go to.
Well, the whole problem, the theatrical experience, right? It's sort of a twofold problem, right? It's the theaters need to make the theatrical experience worthwhile, right? Mm-hmm. Comfort. Obviously, we live in Florida. It's fucking hot.
Yeah.
So, to be able to go somewhere for 2-3 hours, sit in a nice, comfortable seat in the air condition, that's worth it in the summer. Mm-hmm. But then it's also on the studios who need to be producing content that is worth going 100%. To the theater. And I misspoke. I shouldn't have used the word content. But, they need to be releasing and producing films that are worth going to the theater to see.
100%.
Which, looking ahead, obviously Longlegs has been getting a lot of people, but I feel like that's still a very niche crowd, but coming up we have Twisters, we have Deadpool and Wolverine. These are movies that are getting people excited, but before that it's really been sort of a dry run. And
an example I'll bring up, 10 years ago, Fly Me to the Moon would have probably done a lot more numbers than it did this weekend, which we'll get into.
Yeah.
But it's because people's standards, rightfully so, with like what we mentioned, like the pandemic and amongst other things, being like, no, if I'm going to leave my house, like, make it look fucking good.
Well, you're right. You're looking at a movie and you're going, do I want to go see this or can I just wait for it to be streaming?
Because also the fucking, what pisses me off is the studios eliminating the theatrical window to where like, oh, it's on PVOD, 28 days after it was in theaters? Of course people are going to wait because they know like, oh, it'll be here in 4 fucking weeks. Like,
yeah, because if they're looking at, let's call it July, right? They're like, okay, so we have Fly Me to the Moon. Oh, we have Twisters. Oh, we have Deadpool. I'm not going to the movie 3 times if I don't have the subscription. So they're looking at it and maybe they want to see Fly Me to the Moon. They're like, okay, well, I want to go see Twisters on the big screen. I feel like I can watch Fly Me to the Moon at home.
Yeah. Yeah. And if Fly Me to the Moon is going to have I don't know the theatrical window on that. I imagine it's not going to be big just based on the, trend. But now, if Fly Me to the Moon stayed in theaters, like if it had a 90-day theatrical window, after the summer's over, when it gets into the fall and it's on its way out of theaters, that's when the movie could find new life, pending fall releases coming out.
Yeah.
And people could be like, oh, I never did see that. Let's go. But now you're just removing that option entirely and giving it to them at home, which is why they're not leaving in the first place. It's a whole fucking thing that upsets me. But the purpose of this was that Regal's improving their theaters, and I think that's a good idea.
Yes.
What do you guys think about Regal improving their theaters? Let us know in the comments as we move on to our next story. And Nicholas, what do you got for us next?
Our next story comes to us from The Hollywood Reporter, and that is that Shrek 5 is officially a go.
Yes.
With a release date of July 1st, 2026.
That is right. And it confirms Michael Myers, Eddie Murphy, and Cameron Diaz returning. No word on Antonio Banderas yet, which is interesting considering that the last Puss in Boots movie ended with the tease of a new Shrek movie. So,
yes. And also being really good.
Yeah, so I'm curious as to where that's going to go. But I'm going to briefly pull from the Hollywood Reporter here. Shrek 5 is officially a go, with Universal and DreamWorks Animation announcing that the storied franchise will return on July 1st, 2026, with the stars of Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, and Cameron Diaz returning 25 years after the original Shrek. The feature has been long in development and will arrive 16 years after previous entries Shrek Forever After, which debuted in 2010 and earned $752 million globally. It's being directed by Walt Dorn. And he's directing after working as a writer on the second and third films and head of the story on the fourth film. Minions Rise of Gru director Brad Abelson will co-direct, with Shrek Forever After producer Gina Shea and Illumination CEO producing. I don't know why I mentioned all that.
So is it an Illumination movie then?
I don't think it's an Illumination movie, but I think just the people who worked on that will be working on it. It'd be interesting if it was an Illumination movie because it is DreamWorks. Shrek was DreamWorks.
Or do you think it's just sort of the Illumination CEO wants to produce it?
I mean,
he's just there. He's just getting his name on it.
If you have the ability, and Shrek 5 is coming, I'd want to work on it too.
And you say, hey, give me a little bit of the box office.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but the DreamWorks animation is what announced it on Twitter. So it looks like it's just going to be DreamWorks again. But yeah, this is exciting.
It is. And isn't there also news of a donkey movie as well?
There's rumored that they're going to do a donkey spinoff from this, yes.
From Shrek 5.
Yes.
Got it.
Which I think would be funny as hell. I love Eddie Murphy as Donkey, personally.
He's really good.
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously, look, the first one was groundbreaking when it came out. If I'm not mistaken, it was the first film to win Best Animated Feature at the Academy Awards. Because I think that's when they created that award, was around that time. I'm going to look that up because I don't want to be wrong. But it's an amazing movie, which spawned this crazy franchise with the Puss in Boots spinoff as well. And it's just one of those things that it just kind of captured the pop cultural zeitgeist in a way that was really unexpected. There are Shrek raves now. And I obviously anticipate this movie making a shit ton of money when it comes out.
Oh, yeah.
What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder what they'll go with for a title, if they'll just call it Shrek 5.
Yeah, that's a good thought, because they did Shrek the Third, and was it Shrek the Fourth?
Well, it was just Shrek 1, Shrek 2, Shrek the Third, and then Shrek Forever After.
Shrek Forever After, right. Yeah, I don't know.
Shrek Ride or Die.
Shrek Ride or Die. That's how you do it. By the way, I can confirm, Shrek was the first animated film to win Best Animated Feature.
No, listen, I mean, Shrek's a beloved franchise. The Puss in Boots second movie spinoff was very successful and very good. And people have such nostalgia and love for this series. Shrek 5 just makes sense. And the fact that they were able to get the cast back, even better. I'm hoping, I know that the Beverly Hills Cop movie that just came out is doing very successful on Netflix, according to Netflix. So,
Yeah.
But, it's sort of spawning this Eddie Murphy resurgence, and I hope that we also get a Mike Myers resurgence as well.
That'd be
and
fun.
You know what? And a Cameron Diaz. I know she kind of semi-retired.
Yeah.
I know she has a new movie coming out with Jamie Foxx this year. So hopefully all of them just sort of come back and we start getting more.
Yeah,
mainly
love that.
Mike Myers. I fucking love Mike Myers.
Yes. Make a Mask sequel with Jim Carrey and Cameron Diaz. Again, I'd pay a lot of money to see that. That'd be amazing.
No, Jim Carrey will not do anything unless it's Sonic now.
That's fair. That's fine.
I don't blame him.
Same. But yes, what do you guys think about Shrek 5 officially happening? Let us know in the comments as we move on to our next story. And Nicholas, what do you got for us next?
Our next story comes to us from The Hollywood Reporter, and that is that Kevin Costner's Horizon 2 has pulled its August release from theaters after the first film has flopped.
Yeah, so there's a lot to this story. Because it's no secret that the first film has flopped pretty dramatically in theaters. I believe it's made less than $30 million worldwide on a budget of, it's 50 to 100. I don't know if 100 was for both films. I think it was.
No, 50 and 50.
Yeah, but I like the studio's statement on the film being pulled. However, it is kind of just positive spin on something that's not a great scenario. And I'll pull the quote as to what the studio said about pulling the film. Territory Pictures and New Line Cinema have decided to not release Horizon Chapter 2 on August 16th in order to give audiences a greater opportunity to discover the first installment of Horizon over the coming weeks, including on PVOD and Max. We thank our exhibition partners for their continued support as moviegoers across the U.S. discover the film in its theatrical run, said a spokesperson for New Line. It's a nice sentiment, saying like, oh, maybe it's just not enough time for people to discover the first film. Let's let it go on streaming and do all that, and then we'll release it. It's a nice way of saying like, oh, this is not doing as well as we thought it was going to do. Mm-hmm. Now, do I think people will discover this movie on streaming? Yes, because the audience that this movie was made for is not really the audience that's going to the movies anymore, which, while sad, is a reality. Mm-hmm. It's true, especially in the past couple years since the pandemic. Now, those people do stay home and watch streaming because, the Yellowstone audience did not show up, but they are at home ready to watch something. So it will be interesting to see what happens. And I hope, as someone who was very lukewarm on the movie, I hope the second one gets a theatrical release, but my gut is telling me that they might have to sell it and just stream it, which kind of sucks.
Well, that's sort of what I was thinking is, well, if this audience discovers it at home on streaming, are they going to expect the second one on streaming?
We'll see. It's just going to kind of have to come to that. I'm hoping that, because look, if it gets discovered on streaming and it like blows up on the streaming charts, on the PVOD charts, then you can expect a little bit better of a theatrical run for the second movie, but it won't be dramatic. Like, it won't be suddenly a box office success overnight.
Yeah.
But it's better than not putting it in theaters and losing that money unless you make a great deal behind the scenes to sell it for that profit. Because licensing is back from streaming services. So if Netflix and Hulu and Max and all these want to pay a pretty penny to stream the movie, that's money that they're making. I don't think they're going to make everything that they made back, which is unfortunate, but it happens. And I'm hoping that they do release the second chapter theatrically.
I saw a great tweet, I guess, at some theaters. They had a passport that you can get stamped to go see like 1, 2, and then eventually like 3 and 4. And someone just tweeted and said, "And what of my passport?"
That's funny. Yo, I bet that's like a good like piece of memorabilia to have, actually. It's like, I have the Horizon passport. Thank you very much. There
is a market for that. You still have your New Mutants poster?
I do. With the original release date on it. Yeah. Oh yeah. Remember how many times that movie got delayed? And it has the Fox logo on it, not the studio's one.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I didn't realize the studio's changed too.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Oh yeah. Them's the breaks. But yeah, it's unfortunate, but what do you guys think of Horizon 2 being pulled from theaters? Do you think it will eventually play theatrically in the fall, or do you think that this is going to be something that's going to get dumped onto streaming? Let us know in the comments as we move on to our last news story of the day. And Nicholas, what's our last news story?
Last story comes to us from Variety, and that is that the Conjuring finale has been dated for fall 2025 at Warner Brothers.
Yes, so it looks like they're doing one more Conjuring movie, and it's going to act as the finale of the Conjuring universe. And per Variety, the yet-to-be-titled fourth film will be coming out in September of 2025, and it looks like it's going to be directed by the person who directed The Curse of La Llorona and The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It. I don't know if that's fully confirmed yet, but that's the
direction it's
heading. Obviously, James Wan's not going to make it. He's busy with a lot of other things. Here's what I'll say about this. I love the first two Conjuring movies. I think the second Conjuring movie is even better than the first Conjuring movie, and I think it's one of the best modern horror movies. Love The Conjuring 2. James Wan is amazing. I have not seen every spinoff in that universe because I haven't heard great things about them, but it is, without a doubt, a very successful cinematic universe that did not have to be one, that they did a great job financially on creating this world, this horror world that was originally based in reality and then kind of, trickled out. You have 3 Annabelle movies, 2 Nun movies, the La Llorona movie, and the 3 Conjuring movies.
Yeah. And no Crooked Man.
Which is a shame. But look, good for Warner Brothers. Good for them.
Yes.
They were probably more profitable on this one than they were on the DCEU, to be honest. But I like that they're marketing this as the finale of The Conjuring, even though I'm pretty sure we're supposed to get a Conjuring TV show. Yeah. Which I don't know, is the movie going to lead into that, or is it going to be? I don't know how that's going to work. To be honest,
is it confirmed if the two of them are even in it?
It wasn't confirmed.
Yeah.
But regardless, I love these 2 characters. I love these 2 actors portraying these 2 characters so much. I think that part of the reason why even the third movie works for me, even though if it doesn't work as well as the first 2, is that you just have these characters and their love story and their passion for each other just is the beating heart of every Conjuring movie that they're in. Mm-hmm. And the fact that we're getting another movie with them, period, makes me really excited. And I'm looking forward to this movie. Do I wish James Wan was making it? Of course I do. But the fact that it's Patrick Wilson, Vera Farmiga, playing these characters, one last ride, I'm in. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm excited for the Avengers Endgame scene of every horror character ever from the franchise just leading into it. But yeah, I think it was something that everyone was sort of why do we need these spin-offs? But then everyone went to go see them. And there are some that are better than others. Mm-hmm. I actually personally have not seen any of the Annabelle movies. I personally like both Nun movies. I think I like the Nun 2 more than the Nun 1 just because of the Catholic archives.
God, yes.
The movie just stops and becomes a detective movie halfway through and you're like, okay. And I did not mind Curse of La Llorona.
I'm fascinated to this day why it wasn't marketed as a Conjuring movie, but that's
that's
the point.
The weird part of it.
Yeah.
But I still think that I would even maybe say all 3 Conjuring movies still stand above everything that I just named.
I agree.
And Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga as Ed and
Lorraine
are fantastic.
Yes.
I love both of them, like you said. So to get them again is great.
100%.
And I will be there day one, naturally.
Me as well. And with that down, guys, it's now time to move on to the box office.
The box office.
Nicholas.
Dalton.
Will you please pull up our predictions?
Yes. All right, so Dalton, you had Despicable Me 4 as number 1, Inside Out number 2, Longlegs number 3, Quiet Place Day 1 number 4, Bad Boys, Ride or Die is number 5. I had Despicable Me 4, Inside Out 2, Longlegs, Quiet Place Day 1, and Fly Me to the Moon at number 5. So you and I just had different 5th.
Correct. We were both wrong.
What?
In a very fun turn of events, here's how the charts played out this week.
Hit me with it.
Are you prepared?
These are, once again, the Sunday estimates. The final Monday numbers will be in the description.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Coming in first was Despicable Me 4, making $44.6 million, only dropping 40% from week 1 to week 2. Shmoney. Coming in second, making $22 million, Longlegs.
Holy shit.
Hell yeah.
Well done.
Hell yeah. On a budget of what I believe was like 3.
Damn.
Something like that. It was low. It's a Neon movie. They make very low budget films.
3 million?
Something like that. It's low.
Well, 2 was just Cage.
Yeah, probably. But listen, great job, Neon. You deserve this success. That marketing campaign was brilliant. Coming in third, making $20 million, was Inside Out 2. Coming in fourth, making $11 million, was Quiet Place Day 1. Coming in fifth, making $10 million, Fly Me to the Moon.
Dang.
Bad Boys came in sixth with $4 million.
All right, so that's on me for betting against Cage.
Listen, it happens. It happens. I will say, we said that Fly Me to the Moon would come in around 10, but we also thought that Longlegs would come in around 10.
Yeah.
Like, we were like, it's going to be around the same. Almost double, more than double that. So
the power of marketing.
Power of marketing.
And Nick Cage.
Yes. Now, what will the weekend drop be? Because I believe it has a C cinema score.
Yeah.
We shall see.
Against Fly Me to the Moon's A-.
Yeah. Listen, hey, them's the breaks, baby.
What did Horizon come out with?
I think it was a B.
Okay.
Yeah, a B plus.
All right.
Could be wrong. Despicable Me 4 now has $437 million worldwide. On a budget of, I can guarantee you, was less. It's profitable. Hey, surprise.
I think it was roughly around 100, I think I read.
Longlegs has not opened internationally, so that 22.6 is where it's at. I don't have the budget listed here, but I believe I didn't pull that 3 out of nowhere. I want to say it's between 3 to like 6. I'm pretty sure it's in like the single millions.
Oh, wow.
For Longlegs. Inside Out 2, good lord, is now just shy of $1.3 billion on a budget of 200. That's 6.5 times that budget back. Good for Inside Out 2. Quiet Place Day 1 is also killing it, which it's just under 200 million worldwide. It'll be there tomorrow. So good for that movie. I believe it was made for, I want to say, in the 40 to 60 range.
Quiet Place?
Yeah. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was made around there. And Fly Me to the Moon has not opened worldwide yet, so it's just at the $10 million on a budget of 100. Oof. Whap whap indeed. I'm going to try to watch that today and see how that goes. Bad Boys Ride or Die has moved its total to $367 million worldwide. Good for them. 3.7. Horizon is at $28 million worldwide.
Yikes.
Oogly boogly. And Maxine is now at $13 million worldwide. I believe that's the highest grossing of the trilogy, if I'm not mistaken. But they're cheap to make, so they'll be fine. I think that's the only ones really worth noting at the moment. That's the box office this week. Are you ready for predictions for next week?
So what do we have coming out?
The only one worth mentioning is Twisters.
Despicable Me did 40?
Yeah, 44.
Okay. All right, you go first.
I go first?
Yeah.
Oh, let's go, dude. Okay. Ready for this?
Yep.
Twisters number 1.
Okay.
Despicable Me number 2. Inside Out number 3. I think it's going to go above Longlegs. Longlegs number 4.
Are you debating if Fly Me to the Moon will get a bump?
Uh-huh.
And if it'll take out Quiet Place?
Uh-huh. Quiet Place number 5. I thought about it because it does have the better cinema score, but man, Quiet Place only dropped 43% from week 2 to week 3, man. That's good for a horror movie with a B+ score.
All right. I'll take that action. How about that?
You'll take that action?
I'll take that action.
Okay.
I'll go Twisters, Despicable Me, Inside Out, Longlegs, Fly Me to the Moon.
All right, but we both think that Inside Out will go above Longlegs this week.
I do.
Because I think the drop will be somewhat significant.
I do, and I think it's had more mixed reviews than positive.
And listen, I would love it if it had a small drop, but I just think it will have a bigger one. Yeah.
I don't think it'll knock it out, though.
No.
Like, there's no way Fly Me, no.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, it made 20. I wouldn't be shocked. I would be shocked. I think it'll probably be in the 50s. I think it'll end at, like, 10.
Yeah.
So, let's see what happens. But, yeah, that's where I'll go.
We'll see what happens. But, man, it's going to be close.
It will be close.
It's going to be close. We shall see. Guys, if you want to put your box office predictions for the top 5 in the comments below, if you're right, we'll shout you out on the next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you on the next one.